Well, we're on another train going to London. This will be our second visit to London, and we're going to the theatre today. Anita's going to see Frozen, and I'm going to see War of the Worlds. We're very excited about that. We've got an hour and something train journey into London first. So we're back in Waterloo Station on our next adventure here in London, and the first part of it means getting onto a tube. So we've got Waterloo Underground Station. We're just checking whether this is somewhere we can actually get to our destination from. Just come out of the Underground London Bridge Station, right next to the Shard, that really tall, pointy, spiky building over there. We're going to make the way down this way. Time is just after 10:30 in the morning. This is called Borough Market. Tapas. Yeah. Leave the Borough Market. We just come outside and we've got the Southwark Cathedral here. Rather impressive building. Over 1,000 years. People have worshipped there, and also some modern buildings here. So we've got the ancient and the modern all mixed together. We're just coming down towards the river, I guess. I don't know this area very well, so I'm just following my leader. There's a rather splendid looking ship in front of us. I don't think it's an original, but hopefully a very good replica. It's a big piece of wood. We're just walking underneath London Bridge, and we're being serenaded by the music. London Bridge is falling down. Well, let us get to the other side, please, before you do. Should be safe now. We're taking our walk along the Queen's Walk. Across the river there, we've got the new, more modern skyscrapers. Thames is looking pretty high. Tide must be in.
Be prepared when you come around one, there's a camera on your phone.
Walking down this promenade next to the River Thames, and then we come to the Hms Belfast. It's another ship I've never actually been on. It is open to the public, I believe, and it's one I've somehow missed out on our many trips to London. Just behind us we've got the Haze Gallery. Looks like something very interesting. That looks like steampunk. In the days when warships were really big and they had big guns on the front. And just beyond HMS Belfast we have perhaps the most famous bridge in the world. This is Tower Bridge. It's two wonderful towers and the bridge itself, which opens up when taller ships need to come through. Just looking back on HMS Belfast, it is actually a pre-Second World War, 1938, and served, and there are some dates there going back to 1938, and in Sydney, Hong Kong, Singapore, Dar es Salaam. We can head up towards Tower Bridge on our little walk beside the River Thames. All along here we've been following apes. There's a really big one over that side. Others have been much smaller. I think that one must be King Kong. Hearing lots of Spanish voices as we're walking through London today, which is nice to hear. We're a little bit closer now to Tower Bridge, and of course Tower Bridge leads to the Tower of London, which is just across the water there. Tower of London over there and Tower Bridge over here. We're just walking along towards it. Another view of Tower Bridge, and then moving down to Tower of London. We now walked up and climbed to the top of, so we're actually on Tower Bridge now. I'm going to walk across it. Something I don't actually remember doing before. Towards the Tower of London. The temperature is certainly going up, must be very close to 30 degrees now. Just on the boat, on the water down there, on the river, is an Uber boat. Equivalent to an Uber taxi. You can actually go up this tower, and there is a walkway that takes you across to the other tower. So we're not going to have time to do that today. Trying to make his way through. So right at the top there is a walkway. You can actually see people. Ooh, must be a glass floor. As we look upstream, we can now see the river going up there and HMS Belfast with the Shard on the left. We're still making our way across towards the Tower of London. On a future occasion, I'd quite like to go in there again. I was only, I don't know, about 8 or 10 years old the last time I went into the Tower of London. did come a few years ago to see the poppies, the ceramic potteries, Stoke-on-Trent ceramic poppies that were surrounding the Tower of London. And I do have a photograph of Anita with them in the background.
I mean, obviously the smaller steps need to be more friendly than the bigger ones.
There's an entrance to take you up into the tower if you wish to do that. But, there's a bit of a queue. It's not on our itinerary for today either. So, nestled amongst all the buildings over there is the Gherkin. It used to stand out on the skyline. It's now been surrounded by other equally tall buildings. Here's the old London, just as you'd expect it to be, I suppose. And we now come to the end of the bridge. And on the left hand side, the Tower of London. Most impressive of buildings. And when I went as a boy, the main aim was to go and see the crown jewels, which I did. It's the gardens, people walking through the gardens. Looking at the walls here of Tower Bridge, sorry, Tower of London. We've gone past the bridge. You may have noticed the aeroplanes coming in. They seem to come in very low. So they're off to Heathrow. This is just about where we separate now. The big boys go in one direction, and Anita, Lara and William go off to be frozen, which I'm sure they'll really enjoy. Especially if it's an air-conditioned theatre. And we'll be going off to the War of the Worlds. Just caught a proper old London bus there going down. Don't see them very often, the old route master. So we're just walking towards the theatre. We've just come into this road. Gives us a really good view of the Gherkin up there, look. I wonder how warm it is in those offices. I bet they've got their air conditioning turned up. One thing London's got is really beautiful architecture. This is Dixon House in Lloyd's Avenue. Lovely building. And on this side, We've got the Lloyd's registers. I'm standing too close to it for you to get a decent view. What we've come to London for today, it's the War of the Worlds, the immersive experience, and this is the entrance. We're going in here. We couldn't actually record the video inside the show, but it was really good. If you'd like to know a little bit more about it, just click on the link above and I'll tell you a little bit more about the War of the Worlds show. The system for using the underground is really simple. You just tap and you're in. And then you go and find a train and you get on the train, the tube train, and then tap when you come off. You get billed accordingly depending on what journeys you've made. It seems to work quite well. This is a more older, traditional tube station. And I'm looking at the Circle line. Platform 1, and this one you could actually fall onto the lines. Just walking past Somerset House. So if you were born in the UK, then I guess that's where birth was recorded.
And this became quite a famous
Grand buildings here, grand scale. Theatreland, so in front of us we have the Lyceum Theater, which at the moment you can go and see The Lion King. Just round the corner, theatre where you can go and see Mamma Mia. I'm sure we're going to see some more as we walk up the road. We've got Warner Brothers on location, that's Harry Potter, the photographic exhibition, and then in front we have the Royal Opera House. Busy bars here though.
Look what we went to see.
Don't know if you can see, but there's the sign for Covent Garden. Just coming around to St Paul's Church. And it is, as you would expect, seething with people. There's a better sign, Covent Garden Market, Punch and Judy. Rather fancy, doesn't it? Looks rather fancy.
Yeah.
We're going to table for 7 in there.
Down there we've got the Savoy Hotel, and Nick's just told me that the roundabout at the end's just got the turning circle for a London taxi. Bus goes by, and another bus. The other thing that I know about the Savoy Hotel is that one of the items on the menu is the Arnold Bennett omelette. Arnold Bennett being a writer from Stoke-on-Trent, but came down to live and work and write in London. He was a great friend of H.G. Wells. So we are actually in the Strand, and being very patriotic. Lots of Union Jacks amongst the many people. Crossing the Strand now towards the coal hole, you'd expect to find that in Stoke-on-Trent. I don't think you'd expect to find a coal hole here in London. But there you go. Now we're on the sunny side of the street. I might need to get my hat out.
Trafalgar Square at the end.
Gets about as our Leon. Hms Theater across the road. This is the Adelphi, where they have Back to the Future.
And there's six wives in Henry VIII.
There, vaudeville, which has got 6, which is the 6 wives of Henry VIII. And not to be left out, here's Adam Street.
Your birthday.
Walking by, you just spot all of these places you know and heard of. This is the Royal Society of Arts. Across the road we've got Coots Bank. Bankers to the Queen, I believe, or used to be. And I once had a cheque from Coots Bank. I couldn't frame it and keep it, but had to cash it. But it was definitely from Coots Bank. Interesting bridge across the road there. And a very busy pedestrianised street. Up to Embankment Station, and then just to the right, Embankment Palace. View of some halls. Breezy up here.
That's it.
Which is the tacos with some halloumi fries. This one I think is the cauliflower. Well, this one might be the cauliflower. One is chicken. We've got chicken and cauliflower.
Are you going to take a photo of us, Ollie?
Well, we all had a really great day in London. Lots and lots of walking. Saw some fantastic sights. And of course, 2 really great shows. Frozen and The War of the Worlds. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.